I was in a bar, and there were a couple friends of mine, and they came into the bar one night, and they had apparently...
There are some stories that hit harder than any explosion on screen. The story of Bruce Willis, the man who once embodied toughness, charm, and wit, is one of them. For decades he was the face of the everyman hero, the guy who bled, joked, and fought his way through impossible odds. But time and illness have a way of humbling even the strongest. In August 2025, Bruce Willis, the unstoppable force of Die Hard, moved into a care home after his health sharply declined. The man who once commanded sets with humor and confidence now communicates mostly through gestures. Yet, in those rare moments when he smiles or laughs, the world catches a glimpse of the spirit that made him unforgettable. This is the story of Bruce Willis, not just the star, but the son, the father, the husband, and the man who, even in silence, continues to inspire strength. A childhood between two worlds. Bruce Willis was born on March 19, 1955, in Eder Oberstein, West Germany. His father, an American soldier, and his German mother raised him between two cultures, the discipline of post-war America and the traditions of small-town Germany. When Bruce was 2, the family moved to New Jersey, and the little boy who once ran through the cobbled streets of Europe found himself in a working-class American neighborhood. Life wasn't glamorous. His father worked as a mechanic, his mother as a bank clerk, and money was always tight. But young Bruce was already showing signs of resilience, a quiet toughness that would define him later. Finding his voice. Ironically, the man famous for his voice once couldn't use it. As a child, Bruce developed a severe stutter that made him the target of relentless teasing. Words got trapped in his throat, and every classroom became a battlefield. Kids called him Buck Buck, and the humiliation was relentless. But everything changed when he joined the high school drama club at 15. On stage, something miraculous happened. The stutter vanished. Acting gave him power. He could speak clearly, confidently, and for the first time, people listened. That discovery didn't just help him find his voice, it gave him his purpose. From then on, Bruce knew that performance wasn't just a passion, it was salvation. The bartender with big dreams. After studying theater at Montclair State University, Bruce dropped out in 1977 and took his chances in New York City. Life wasn't easy. He worked long nights bartending just to afford rent and sometimes slept on friends' couches. Yet even behind the bar, he turned every shift into a show, cracking jokes, telling stories, and entertaining customers. People came not just for the drinks, but for the man serving them. That magnetic energy caught the attention of casting agents. Soon, small theater roles led to commercials and bit parts on TV. Success was still miles away, but Bruce was building something invaluable: charisma. Breaking into stardom. In 1985, Bruce walked into an audition for a quirky detective comedy called Moonlighting. Around 3,000 actors had already been turned down. Bruce came in with his sleeves rolled up, earrings shining, and a swagger no one could fake. He improvised, made the producers laugh, and walked out with the role of a lifetime. Moonlighting wasn't just a hit, it was a phenomenon. His quick wit and unpredictable charm turned him into a household name. But the fame came with pressure. The long filming hours, creative clashes, and on-set tension with co-star Sybil Shepherd pushed him to exhaustion. In 1988, his health gave out, and he collapsed from stress. Even then, Bruce kept going. It was his nature, to push through, to never quit. The birth of an action legend. When Bruce landed the lead role in Die Hard, 1988, few believed he could pull it off. He wasn't built like Stallone or Schwarzenegger. He looked like an ordinary guy, and that's exactly why audiences loved him. His portrayal of John McClane, the wisecracking cop trapped in a skyscraper, redefined what an action hero could be. Die Hard earned over $140 million worldwide, and Bruce's $5 million paycheck made headlines. But behind the success was a price. A stunt explosion went off too close during filming, leaving him with permanent partial hearing loss in his left ear. It didn't stop him. That toughness wasn't just acting, it was who he was. From action star to movie icon by the 1990s, Bruce Willis was everywhere. Die Hard 2, Armageddon, The Fifth Element, 12 Monkeys. Each film added another layer to his legend. But he wasn't content to stay in one lane. He tried comedy with Look Who's Talking, earning millions for just a few days of voice work, and proved his dramatic depth in Country. His versatility was rare. He could make you laugh in one film and break your heart in the next. Yet fame brought its own storms, tabloid scandals, creative disputes, and public scrutiny. Through it all, Bruce kept doing what he did best: working. Love, family, and Hollywood's spotlight. In 1987, Bruce married actress Demi Moore after a whirlwind romance. Together, they became Hollywood's power couple, glamorous, successful, and constantly in the public eye. They had 3 daughters, Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah. For years, they balanced fame with family, taking turns to act so one parent could always be home. But fame has a way of testing even the strongest bonds. Rumors of affairs and the pressures of celebrity life chipped away at their marriage. In 2000, after 11 years together, they divorced. Yet unlike most Hollywood splits, theirs turned into a lifelong friendship. They raised their children with mutual respect and remained close, even attending each other's weddings. Reinvention and revival. After his divorce, Bruce threw himself into work. He took creative risks, from Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction to M. Night Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense. Both films reminded the world of his range. Pulp Fiction gave him credibility with critics, while The Sixth Sense became a box office phenomenon, earning nearly $700 million worldwide. The twist ending shocked audiences, but it was Bruce's quiet, restrained performance that gave it soul. In the 2000s, he continued balancing blockbusters like Live Free or Die Hard with heartfelt performances in Unbreakable and Red. Even in his 50s, he was still one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood. The beginning of goodbye. In 2022, the world learned the news that broke millions of hearts. Bruce Willis was retiring from acting after being diagnosed with aphasia, a disorder that affects speech and comprehension. Fans noticed something was off in his last few films. Shorter scenes, fewer lines, distant expressions. Now it all made sense. The man who once delivered some of cinema's most iconic lines was losing the ability to speak them. A year later, doctors confirmed it had progressed into frontotemporal dementia, a rare, degenerative brain disease with no cure. His wife, Emma, shared how she initially mistook his symptoms for distance or mood changes, not realizing the disease was quietly taking over. Life in quiet courage. By 2025, Bruce's condition had worsened. On August 15th, his family made the heart-wrenching decision to move him into a specialized care home near Los Angeles. The facility cost over $200,000 a year, offering 24/7 medical supervision and therapy. For Emma and their children, it was an agonizing choice, but they visited often, bringing familiar music, old photographs, and laughter. Sometimes, when a song from his 1987 album, The Return of Bruno, played, Bruce would smile faintly or tap his fingers to the beat. In those moments, the spark returned, proof that somewhere inside, the same man still lived, still remembered. The family that never let go. What makes Bruce Willis's story extraordinary isn't just his fame, it's his family's love. Demi Moore, Emma Hemming, and all 5 of his daughters came together as one unit, sharing memories, celebrating his life, and honoring the man who gave them everything. In public, they speak not with pity, but with gratitude, for the laughter, for the lessons, and for the decades of joy he brought into their lives and ours. They continue to advocate for dementia awareness, reminding the world that behind every diagnosis is a person who once lit up the room. Legacy of a legend. Bruce Willis's life has been a journey of resilience. From a stuttering boy in New Jersey to one of Hollywood's greatest action icons, his story is one of triumph against odds, of humor in hardship, and of strength in silence. Though he can no longer speak the way he once did, his voice still echoes in every movie, every memory, every fan who grew up quoting "Yippee-ki-yay." His legacy isn't defined by illness, but by the indomitable energy that made him who he is. A man who never stopped fighting, laughing, or loving. Conclusion. Bruce Willis may no longer stand in front of the camera, but his presence remains everywhere, in the laughter of his fans, the admiration of his peers, and the love of his family. His story reminds us that true heroism isn't about guns or explosions, it's about grace, dignity, and courage in the face of decline. The man who once shouted over chaos now lives in quiet strength. And in that stillness, perhaps there's a deeper kind of peace, one that even John McClane would understand.